The Endurance Asia podcast.
And always tell a truthful story if they ever ask. Stop the complaining cause things ain't that bad.
Welcome on to the Endurance Asia podcast and a special edition in collaboration with the Singapore Falcons. I'm with two of the committee members from the Falcons, and this evening we are going to be talking about how to PB a marathon with two proper marathon runners. Like, I'm a complete imposter here, having only ever run one marathon in my life. But Andy, introduce yourself, sir.
Okay, marathon background. I think I counted up today. I've done 12 actually.
Wow. Okay.
First one was 1993.
Okay.
That's a while ago for those counting at home. So
Most
that was a
3:35. Falcons that weren't even born.
Yeah. So that was a 3:35 in kind of flat shoes and cotton vest and stuff. And so I gave it up until 2015. Never ran another one. Didn't want to. So I've done 11 since then. Mountain marathons, things like that. But a few on the road. Yeah.
Okay, so you had a big break from 93 to 2015. Okay.
Horrible stuff, marathons. Until you start getting them right, and hopefully we can help people tonight with some tips we've learned along the way.
Well, mate, you have just come off the back of doing one impeccably right. You did a 3:10 in
3:09, Scott.
3:09, sub 3:10. That's an important factor. But yeah, incredible run. I look forward to digging into that, as well as we've got some incredible experts that we've got that have selflessly given videos and insight and intel that we're going to be playing throughout the podcast. But Mr. Timms, you're a bit of an expert when it comes to marathons.
Well, actually, that's a bit of a myth there, Scott. But thank you for the...
Well, you're more of a trail runner, but you're actually a hybrid.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think how many are the pressure now. Around 15 marathons, but a lot of them hidden within ultras and Ironman events. But I think probably about the same, about 12 pure marathons. My first one was actually London. And I enjoyed it that much I forgot to run fast. It was one of those, but then progressively kind of got a little bit quicker, but now I love it. I've got the bug, the marathon bug. It's it's an honest distance, it's one that you really need to do properly, but loving the marathon bug at the marathon zone at the moment. So happy to help tonight.
Yeah, well, as I say, I'm an absolute imposter here. I've only done one marathon before as an ultra runner, and for me, as an ultra runner, as a trail runner, it was a bit of a badge of honour that I'd never done one. Because one of the things that, and we talked about this when we did after Seoul last year, is that you're defined as an athlete, or as an endurance athlete, or as a runner at least, by your marathon time. It's one of the first questions people ask you, what's your marathon time? And then they immediately stack rank you. And one of the things I love about trail is you can't be defined by it because every race is different. But I tell you what, doing a marathon block kind of transformed me as a runner. So it's made me a much better trail runner. And so I'm all in for doing a marathon block every year. Chris, you've been absolutely instrumental at the Falcons Club in terms of building the plan for a marathon over the past, it's kind of been like a 4 month block, but we've got, how many people have we got attending Seoul from, and hello to all the Falcons?
Yeah, shout out to all the Falcons. I think we've got 35, so we've got a spring marathon block, so we've got a few guys who did Osaka. Andy just come on the back of, a few of them did Tokyo last week. We've got Seoul next week, and then I think we've got a few others. So within that group, there's probably about 55, 35 going to Seoul, which is our biggest ever, and we've got a really high 95% PB rate at the moment. So they've been Andy included, a really good start to the year of Discover Your Personal Best. So this is going to be awesome tonight.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to actually start with there, Chris, in terms of how you thought about approaching building a block for a club, because you've got so many people with so many different levels of abilities, and I suppose the goal is how do we get everyone to a PB? So how do you create a plan that just caters to such a broad level of abilities?
It's a great question. I'm going to pull Andy in here as well because he's been instrumental in this. Andy's the guru. You go to Andy. Andy, is this okay? He'll rubber stamp stuff and check sessions. I think the key to the whole training plan is adaptability, because we've got rowers, we've got we've got cyclists, triathlete. There's high rocks. Guys there, so I think creating a framework that people can dip into as little or as much as they want, and adjust the pacing plan, adjust the volume, adjust how much rest time they have. So I think the adaptability of of the block with regards to making sure that you're hitting your, you know, VO2 max sessions when appropriate, your core sessions is the threshold and the tempo ones, and then having those easy runs as well. But when you look at what people have done, everyone will have done something similar, but it will look massively different because...
Yeah, I think we try to do the core sessions in the week, but not everyone's sessions, so it doesn't take over people's lives, right?
Absolutely.
So the ones you should try to do are the Tuesdays and the Thursdays, which are prescribed. A club like ours always has a Sunday long run as a concept. Our guys go out Saturdays or Sundays. But what the plan doesn't do, which I think is great because that's what caters for all of our abilities, is not have, you must do this on Monday, you must rest on Wednesday. It doesn't do that.
Doesn't.
So our volumes are massively different between all of our runners, because that's where it becomes how hard you really want to commit to it.
Yeah, because everyone's different. And I think the defining difference is if you Google marathon training plan, by and large, 90% of the training plans you'll find are similar. Okay, you can find them now. AI, you don't need a coach. You can go on AI and find one.
Yeah.
But the differentiator for me is the people, right? And that's the difference. That's what you can't get on AI, because the people at the club, either digitally on, like we were with you with 4 Trails, encouraging, you knew you had a load of people giving you grief on, you know, but the training, Kipchoge's one of his thing was like, run as a group, run as a pack. You know, you look at all of those guys training, you know, and they're running with packs, right? And that's the pack mentality that Falcons gives us, that we tap each other, we encourage each other around the track, and we do the hard sessions together. To Andy's point, we always say, get to the Tuesdays. If you're going to make any session in the week, get to the Tuesday, because that's the one that you can't do on your own properly. So the people at the club have incidentally helped everybody. So to coin the phrase, together we soar, we rise up by lifting those around us. That really is what the club is all about.
Yeah, 100%. You're never going to push yourself as hard as you can with a load of people around you on your shoulder. And I think that, to talking about different levels of ability, I think that's one thing that's worked so well at the club, is that we've got loads of different pace groups.
Yeah.
So no matter what, whether your target time is a 4 hour or sub 3 or 2:30, there's people that you can train with that can keep you honest. And yeah, I think one of the other things that you do really well, Chris, as part of the club, is the kind of celebration as well. If you talk about the accountability piece, people know if they're going to do a marathon, that like everyone knows they're going to be in Osaka. People have got an eye on them, and and then when they're out there on the course and they're feeling hard, they know, I need to do the PB because I'm also going to get the shout out on the Falcons group, and so like so it's an extra motivation.
Marginal gains.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, look, Andy, I'd actually like to just pick your brains around Tokyo, right?
Okay.
Can I ask you how old you are? I know you shouldn't ask women,
You
but
can.
like,
Well, I'm not.
52.
52. 52. Yeah.
So you crossed the big 50 mark.
Yeah.
You
All
have
downhill from here, mate.
Yeah. Well, you just run a sub 3:10. Which what's the BQ time? Boston qualifying time?
3:20.
3:20.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that your goal going into the race? Yeah.
No, as you both know, it wasn't.
Right. So yeah, this is funny. Actually,
I got slightly bullied into committing to something around 3:10. Look, I've had a strange block. I got the volume done, but actually didn't turn up to that many Tuesdays because I've been on the road. So I was worried a little bit about the pace, whether I could hold it. So you forced me into saying 3:10. Some people we shouldn't do that to, because that marathon is tough, and we know the odds don't work. Not everyone is going to do a PB. So where I got to was it just worked. It just worked on the day. I think we all need a bit of that. I mean, Sarah Hall said on Instagram that she ran through first half of Tokyo and felt like it was all downhill.
Yeah.
She pulled out at 29k.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. So it doesn't work, and those things do happen in a marathon, which is why I think it's a great test. Yeah. I was lucky. I mean, I was more patient than I've ever been before in a marathon, which is something I think you learn.
Tell me more about that. What do you mean by patience?
I just waited. I mean, we're going to hear from a few of the guys today, like the race starts at 32k. They used to say 20 miles the race started at. Harry and I, my coach, he always encourages me, just be patient, just wait. The race is going to come to you is one of our sayings, which is true.
Yeah, I like that.
It's true over 1500, but it's true over a marathon. So I waited. Now, the idea was to wait until 30k. I felt so fresh. My legs came back to me a bit at 25k, and I got into a group, and it felt fine. So I started picking it up from 25k. So I was patient till 25. And then the second thing, I just was always listening to what my body was telling me, which again, it's just experience, but you have to know where you are. You've got to ignore some of the signs, which are just nerves, and just the fact you're putting your body under a lot of strain. But you do know when things are getting tough. You've got to push through a bit. I think you have to adapt. One of my 12 is a DNF. I walk it off at 29k. So you kind of have to realize when you're in trouble. But I was listening to myself the whole time. And then the last thing was fueling. The last two, I've got the fueling right. Yeah. And it matters so much. Yes. It's very personal. You read on you read online, you must take this many grams of carbs, this. It's all different for all of us, right? I did it on 90 grams of carb. Yeah. Okay. And it was fine. And I held my pace and I actually picked up at the end. So fueling I sorted out. And it was good.
Let me just dig into a couple of those points then. So I want to dig into both like your fueling and actually how you managed to sort of like keep the pace correctly and not actually save yourself. And what was the saying you had from your club? Like let the race come to you.
Let the race come to you, yeah.
So let's start there. So in terms of pacing, with your watch, have you got it set out? Like, are you looking at the pace on your watch with heart rate? You're keeping.
Funnily enough, that's a really good question. I don't do heart rate anymore.
Okay, interesting.
I did heart rate on the one I pulled out of, and I panicked. I looked at my watch and I thought shouldn't be there, and that got into my mind. So I think you've got to feel the body. You are going to push, but I just have pace. Yeah, just have pace, and I actually had distance.
And do you have pace by kilometre?
Yeah. The kilometre you're in. The kilometre you're in, and I had distance. Okay. And I had distance because I know marathons always run long. Yes. They do run long.
Or run the route
you run a bit too far, whatever, but always GPS is never going to work on the big city marathons. So I always like to know how far I've done, but I'm doing mental maths a lot, which keeps me focused in the race. And they're the only two things I have on my watch.
Okay, so just pace and distance. And are you going out the 3:10 pace that we forced you to commit to?
No, because it's so busy on these big city ones that I think actually I didn't do a warm up. I kind of don't for marathons. That's just me. I know some of the quick guys like you guys probably do a warm up. I know Rune did a good warm up on Sunday, but I just use the first K or so to warm up. I try not to get frustrated. Try not to weave and just wait for the gaps, and it will open up, and then you can run your race. It's also just a nice way of getting into the race, so you don't spike. I don't think you spike your heart rate at the start then, so and I was running in 5k splits basically,
and then
well.
How do you know about effort? Like, how do you know you're not pushing too hard? Like, when you say just feel it, I get it's experience, but is there
my breathing's fine? I know my breathing. I know I'm calm.
Talking into yourself? It's like talking.
I think I'm just checking in a lot with myself. Like, are you breathing okay? How do you feel? And you're calm. It's a sense of calmness. I know the ones that I've struggled in, you don't feel calm at all. You feel stressed. Everything hurts. There's always a reason to look around, slow down, blame something, blame the route. So just feeling calm and
Okay. And fueling. There's probably we're going to hear some experts around this as well. Not that you're not an expert. You absolutely are. So with 15 marathons, or 13, did you say? But beforehand, so fueling, like, because I think a lot of things now, the actual effort is only kind of 3 hours or so, 3 to 4 hours. So actually, like, it's more the fueling up to it and before it as much as it is the race. So can you talk to me about that?
I mean, I think some of the people we're going to hear from actually have a different fueling thing. I'm over 3 hours, quite significantly over 3. It's different. And I know people who are going to do 4.5 hours, it's different again, right? So these guys don't have to carry much fuel because they're only going to be working for 2.5 hours. For me, it was more the race day, the 2 days before, I eat a lot. But I eat during the day. I actually no longer do. There used to be a thing where you have a big Saturday night pasta meal.
Carb load before.
I don't sleep properly, and that carb load doesn't happen. I don't believe like that. You've never trained like that anyway.
Who eats like that on a Saturday night?
So orange juice has got carbs. So drink a lot of orange juice, granola bars all day on Saturday, on Friday. I just kind of do it like that, stock up. So actually it's quite a light meal for me on Saturday night. But again, I think all these things are personal, right? I mean, I wouldn't say a big meal is not good, but I'm just saying for me, it's more about getting carbs in for the 48 hours before.
And the morning of?
Morning of, like 2 granola bars, orange juice, coffee, that's it.
Okay. And then the
3 hours before, just like, and then sipping on tailwind or stuff for a bit of, easy carbs.
Like concentrated tailwind or
normal,
just
just
normal?
normal strength.
And then in the 90 grams in the race, what did that consist of?
That
for
was
you?
one of these pouches, precision gel pouches, which I've trained with, which is
Yeah.
important. It's got 90 in the pack. I actually had a second pack with me in case I needed it. I just didn't feel I needed it. I had concentrated tailwind with me in the race, which was good, and I was sipping on that in the last 10k. But that was it.
Okay,
that was it.
Very good.
I think that's enough for me.
Yeah,
Otherwise, my stomach gets going, unfortunately, and that gives me more of a concern than benefit, actually, in the end.
Okay. Should we kick off with our first guest?
Yes.
Yeah. So, do you want to introduce our first guest then, Andy?
Yeah, look, I think it's really important this week of all other that we kick off with a female voice, International Women's Day coming up on the weekend. So, our first guest coach, if you like, guest expert, is Alice Brabham. She's someone I came across and had the pleasure of running with in my former club in Ealing. Met her about 7 years ago. This kind of hectic, but yet intensely kind of family-orientated person turned up to track and wanted to run with us. So we said, yeah, come and run with us. We didn't run with her for very long because she was always out the front, right? So Alice is going to introduce herself. She's now a personal trainer. She's a running coach, couch to 5K, up to marathons. She coaches everybody, I think primarily women, which is great. And she's clearly an expert in that. What she doesn't say on the video is she just set the British record for the half marathon for 50-year-old.
Wow. What time?
I think it's 1:17, 1:16.
Okay.
And in the last year, she was in the 45 to 49 age group. Sorry, Alice. And she was the 5th fastest in the world.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
So she's an expert. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, let's hear from Alice then.
Hi guys, I'm Alice and I'm a personal trainer and running coach from London. I got to know Andy through our running club, the Ealing Eagles, and I used to train with him on a Tuesday night at the running track. And and we miss him, but I know that he has found a brilliant club with you guys, the Falcons. He's asked me to say a few things, give you guys some tips on running a marathon, because I'm running the London Marathon in about 7 weeks' time, and I think it's going to be my 19th marathon. So I've had a bit of experience, and some races that haven't gone to plan, but all of them have taught me something, and I've gained experience that I now pass on to the runners that I coach. And I know you guys, I'm jealous of you because I think you've only got about 10 days left, so you're in the home straight now. You'll be tapering and carb loading and all of that. I've got a good 4 weeks of hard training to get in before I can enjoy that home run. I think one of the main thing that I tell the runners that I coach who are doing marathons, and I try and remind myself, is to have belief in yourself. You can do it. You've done the training, you've done the long runs, you've done the hard work, and really marathon day, race day itself is there for fun. You've put in the effort, and I know lots of you will have a target pace, a target time in mind. Some of you, if you've run marathons before, will be wanting to break a PB, but I'd always say don't fixate on that. It'll be that's the A plan, but always have a sort of fallback if you realise it's not your day and things are not quite you're not on pace for a PB. I would say just enjoy it for what it is. It all gives you experience, and there'll be another marathon along the way. Something else I would say, so yes, positive. So that's positive mindset. I think is brilliant. Just go out there with a smile and enjoy it. Soak up the atmosphere. I remember doing the New York Marathon. And I just loved it. It goes through every borough in New York. And I remember just taking a mental note of places that I wanted to come back to, somewhere for a coffee and a restaurant and cool sights. And I think the Seoul Marathon, you're lucky in that it goes through the city centre. So you'll have loads of support, and there'll be sights to see. It'll be exciting. Actually, for a practical point, I would say is get to know the route, get to know the course. If you've got time to run a little bit of the course, I just find that really helpful. I did that at the Jersey Marathon. I won the Jersey Marathon in October. I was very glad to have done the course because it was quite a hilly one. There were some bits where there was no support at all, where we ran through cabbage fields, but it was good to know where those were. And also there was a big steep hill and then a decline as well, and I knew they were coming, and I think that really helped me in the race. So if you can at all, get to know the course. But more than that, just if you've got friends out, you know where they're going to be, so at mile 20 or whatever, that will keep you going. That's something to look forward to. So I think that would be a tip, to know where the sites are and to know where your support is, and that can sort of help you just get through tough bits. I always say to runners, because I'm sure some of you have had niggles, little injuries and things, and you're worried about that. If you do have a niggle on race day, just try and change something about the way you're running. So I tell my runners, to run taller. Imagine you've got a balloon that's pulling you up. So just elongate your neck, drop your shoulders and relax. Think about swinging your arms, take slightly shorter strides, and all these things will just, if anything, just distract you from the pain for a bit, and perhaps it will go away. That's another thing, actually. That's something that I learnt. Someone told me, and it's been really useful, is that only run the mile you're in. Don't think about the bigger picture. And whatever you're feeling, if you're feeling a bit negative or something's just twinging a little bit, just know that it will pass. It'll most likely pass. If you're mile 5 and something's aching, to think, I've still got 21 miles to go, how am I going to do that? That's kind of negative energy. If you can break it down instead and say, I've already done a fifth of it, I've already done 5 miles, and that will kind of hopefully help get you through. Something else to say is, if you can get into running with a little group, it can really help you along. If there's someone running at the same pace as you, have a little conversation, find out what they're aiming for, and you can really help pull each other along. I ran the Valencia Marathon in December, and I found myself, I was struggling. I hit the wall about mile 19 or 20. I really was feeling tired. I've been going at quite a good pace, and all the negative thoughts were coming in. I was actually thinking I might drop out. But then this guy who I realised I'd been running with for a little while, he said to me, "You're so strong. You're running like clockwork." In fact, he asked if I was Swiss because I was running like clockwork. And that just kind of boosted my morale, and suddenly I felt, really, really good again, and we ran together for the rest of the race. So I hope, I hope that you will get settled into a little group and work off each other. Race day, leave nothing to chance. Make sure you lay out your kit the night before. Don't have anything to eat that you haven't had before. Pretty bland food is good for a marathon, lots of carbs, but don't go off piste with that. And know how you're getting there, because I've had a marathon before where didn't realise there wouldn't be any buses on a Sunday morning and was miles out from it, so I ended up doing about a 6-mile warm-up run. Not ideal. So know how you're going to get there, and a plan B if your public transport might not be there. Enjoy it. I can't wait to hear from Andy how you've all done. So for those it's your first marathon, I'm so jealous of you. That's it. Nothing can beat your first experience. And for those that are trying again, doing another one, going for a PB, good luck to you. But don't worry if you don't. There'll be another marathon if you don't make your PB this time. Thanks, guys, and yeah, good to see you. Bye.
Awesome. That was so good.
Yeah,
so
it's
good.
good.
Thank you, Alice. That was amazing.
She apologises it was so long.
No.
But I think there's an awful lot in there, right? And I wish she'd sent me that before Tokyo, because one of the tips that Alice gave was know the route.
Yes.
I started on completely the wrong side of the road in Tokyo, which got me a little bit frustrated because the first 3 turns, I think, were all to the left and they segregated the road, so I was on the right hand side of a very wide road. So I mean, yeah, that's good advice. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
What was your total distance at the end of the
it was 43, but...
Okay, so you did an extra 800 metres, yeah.
Yeah, which is quite a lot. But again, these big city marathons run long, as we know. But yeah, that idea about the route. I like the fact she got in a slight flex about saying it was in Jersey and she won it.
Yeah.
That was quite a nice touch. But yeah.
On the route one, I have some views on this, and I think we talk about this a lot. One of the things that you can do, we do it on trail a lot. You download the GPX, you look at the route, you get the little Google Map guy, and you look at it. You go there in your head and see what was it like. You know, there's a little shop there, there's a forest, and you can. There's always someone who's filmed a marathon. If you're doing Seoul Marathon for the first time, go on YouTube, type it in. I guarantee you, someone has filmed the entire thing. And last year...
Well, you know someone has.
Yeah, I do. So last year, I've never been to Korea before last year. I did Seoul Marathon for the first time last year. And I went online on YouTube about a week before. And prischew.com, shout out to Pris there, did Seoul a couple of years ago and filmed the entire race. So I watched Pris's entire video of Seoul Marathon. I knew the route. I knew that there was a hill towards the end.
Up, or you literally sat there for 3 hours?
She was. I mean, it was about a 45-minute, but it was intermittent. And every now and again, she'd be like, "I'm on kilometre 5. This is the road," and it was really useful. Jokes aside, and you know what? I knew that the roads were wide. I knew that aid stations were largely on the right-hand side. So if I ran to the left on aid stations, I'd have a clear path. So she actually really helped me out. There lots of things in that. So thanks, Alice. Good shout.
Yeah. The one thing that I took from there is. The run with the group, the only one marathon that I've run at Seoul, I was stuck in the back pen and I didn't have the opportunity to run with the group at all. I passed people for the entire 2 hours and 55 minutes. I think actually there were 3 people that passed me, so I wasn't the only one that was stitched up. But yeah, I can. It is just a force multiplier to be able to and you don't get a massive amount of effect from drafting. I mean, I just know from track, just when you're sitting on someone, and you just get pulled along, and having that positive reinforcement from someone around you, it's amazing how much that can pump up your
people
tires.
should talk more in marathons. That's true. I mean, I got into a group on Sunday. I didn't talk to them until the end because I kind of she was pushing me. Got into a little group and it was good. Now I think there is a danger in the group running thing. You could get dragged to a quicker pace than you are capable of at that moment, at that time. So again, I think you need to be checking in and making sure that's the right group for you. But I got in with a group of 3 or 4 who were just moving really well on Sunday, and I actually just thought, I'm going to commit to this because how many more times am I going to be in this situation? At 26k, I'm not going to do many more of these, please God. And I thought, what's the worst thing that can happen? I might do a 3:30, that's perfectly fine. There was only 14k to go. So I actually gambled and went with them, and it was tough. Like, not too tough, but I was conscious that it was quicker than I had been thinking. But I also knew you 2 idiots had told me to get to us 3:10, and this little group was going to get me there. So
I mean, that's actually funny because we were positive. I actually said initially, you got a 3:05 in you, and you were like, and then we landed in, what was it, like the sandbag, and you were like 3:20 or so. You gave 3 numbers that were like up to 3:30, and then we agreed it was a deal on 3:10. But actually, I'm sure when you were running the race, you were kind of thinking about us going, hey.
There was a bit, but actually the 3 numbers is something that I've obviously learned a similar thing to Alice, and I think it's actually a good tip. I've done it before where I had this number in my head, which in those days was 3 hours, and that's why I blew up. I was chasing something I wasn't really capable of, to be honest. There would have been a PB, sorry to get serious, I can see your face has gone
No,
all.
no.
But having an A plan, a B plan, and a C plan that are actually quite a stretch as well, especially the B to the C, I think allows you to reset if it isn't your day.
Yeah.
And so you can go back to, okay, that's not happening, and that's fine, that is fine. And Alice says that too, that it's a good thing to have different, don't get, the disappointment could become overwhelming in a marathon. It's a very lonely place, right? But having a B plan and a C plan is actually a good thing.
A dream, an ambitious goal, and a realistic one.
And
I
a
think
realistic,
I gave you that
yeah.
in America when you did that race. So awesome tips.
Very
Absolutely
cool.
awesome tips.
Thank you very much, Alice.
Thanks, Alice.
And happy International Women's Day as well. Chris, do you want to introduce our next
I will
expert?
do. Yeah. So this is Andreas Vagner. He's a Swiss ultra runner, incredible marathon. I think he's nudging 2:30. I think he's been trying to chip the 2:30 mark for a couple of years now. He's close to it. Sorry, Andreas, have you already done it? He's a machine. At every distance, you could. He's one of those guys you could race at any distance, and he's quicker than you. You know. So I think he's doing high rocks now, but absolute
Brilliant.
top guy. I met him a few years ago at Running Hour. He still has time to guide special need runners as well. Top guy, and he's put this together for us today.
Let's hear from Andreas.
Hi Chris, hi Falcons. Thank you for having me on this video and letting me share some insights or some thoughts about marathon running. I think marathon, it's a long day out. It takes quite some time for us to finish a marathon, so always expect the unexpected. So many things can go wrong in a marathon, and don't let these things derail your plans. I think it's good to have a why in your head, why you run. For me, it's usually very simple. I'm healthy and I can travel to a marathon, so that's enough why for me. And keeping that in mind when something goes a little bit sideways definitely helps. So expect the unexpected and always think positive. Then I think the second one is at the gun. Don't rush the first 5K. Ease into the race. Don't chase the watch. Don't chase the timing. Find your rhythm and check also in with your body how you feel on that day. It's no point to push when on that day maybe you don't feel 100%. So take it easy. The first 5K, there's still more than 35 Ks to go to the finish line where you can adjust your timings and your pace. And I think the third and most important one, we are not pros, we do it for fun. So have fun out on the race. Smile. I love having the crowd to cheer. I think it's always a very positive feeling. And smile back, give a high five. And I think even when you maybe are struggling, these high fives, these smiles, they can make you better and bring you to the line. So I think that's all from my side. I wish you all the best for Seoul marathons. And again, most importantly, enjoy the race. Cheers. Cheers.
Top guy.
Awesome.
Thanks, Andreas.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one I just want to unpack there a bit. That control the controllables, right? And we say this at Ultra, we said it at Four Trails. Like, there's so much that can go wrong. You can prepare the route, you can prepare your food, you can prepare your shoes, but there's so many things that can go wrong. And I think we said this to you, and I think I said that on that audio. Like, your ability to problem solve mid-race, like you have to think on your feet, and you have to solve problems, and you have to listen to your body, and you have to feel, Seoul is cold, and people will drink like they do in Singapore, and that's a problem, isn't it? How do I fuel? How much drink should I take at the aid station if I'm freezing and I'm not sweating? So all of these things, like you were saying, Andy, you're doing the mental maths. I really love that. It's a thinking game as well. Chuck anything in there, anything you...
Yeah, no, I just liked it. Such simple tips as well. And I agree with you. The first one is important. I mean, water stations, you just made me think. Don't panic about them. Have a look at the first couple, see how long they are, see where they are, because expect the unexpected. Well, every single marathon has a different setup for water stations, right? So don't get stressed if you miss one, because you might miss one. it's not a panic thing as long as you're able to get to the next one. So what would I do if I miss one? I might even stop.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you stop at the next one and make sure you get a drink properly? So yeah, I think that's really good advice, because again, it can just shake you too much if something goes wrong, which it inevitably will.
Yeah.
There's a running theme through both around just enjoy it.
Smile.
Yeah.
Like we're not professional athletes. Like whether you get like a time or not, it doesn't define whether you're going to get a paycheck at the end of it, where you're going to be able to feed your kids. Like there's not. It's literally you're there for fun. This is an enjoyment. This is a passion. So just smile.
Yeah.
Like that was a big thing for me in the 4 Trails. That was just remind yourself to have gratitude that you're out here. You've got your health. You've got your physical. You know, you're healthy, and you get the opportunity to be here because it's going to get tough.
And you put the graft into being there as well, right?
Exactly.
So,
all the thing of like everything you've done. You've done all the hard work. So just enjoy the day. And if it's not working out, it's okay. And it's interesting the way that if you put a smile on your face, how that just changes your whole sense of being. Because with marathons, it can be so serious. You look around at the start and everyone's like, you see everyone's really antsy and like,
at the one marathon you've done,
I've only done one, but I mean, you see it in ultra as well a lot. But it's just like people are like, but just remember that, like, if you just smile, then your body will react in a better way. Your heart rate will probably be lower because you'll be more relaxed.
True.
So
just add that piece about you're right. Enjoy it. You've got the piece about the controllables. But what Andreas said there about the first 5K, I would argue, and I couldn't find any stats or data on this, but I reckon something like 90% of marathon screw-ups come in the first 5K. When people have gone out too hard, they've overpaced. They've not done something well. They've not warmed up properly. They've misjudged. They've realised too late that the pacing's off. Like, he's absolutely right. The negative split, the build it up, the just enjoy the first 5K and don't throw yourself under the bus with a time. Build it up. What did he say? Lock into just build the rhythm up gently. If it feels too hard in the first 5K, something's gone wrong. Right? It should. If it feels too easy, that's the right pace to be running at in the first 5K. So he's done that. I know he's made that mistake himself a lot of times. So he's giving top advice there. When he's missed PBs, you look at his splits and you go, bloody hell, mate. First 5K, what were you doing?
Sharp.
You know?
An incredible runner though. I've seen him around Singapore. Like, he's one of the best marathon runners in Singapore. He's on that 2:30 mark. From one incredible runner to another. Darren Southcott.
Darren Southcott.
Southcott. He is English guy from London. He's been in Singapore for a while. What is his marathon time actually? He's 2:25 or 2:28.
I think he is.
I think was it? And we should have checked this beforehand. I believe he ran the Gold Coast in it was a 2:25 or something.
I think it was 2:24 or something. I think he's sharp.
And we see him he's got this incredible running style where he's like a natural running athlete. Him and Malaki train together, but he sent in some really good tips that I'm going to be able to read out for you now. For the build up, around the last 14 days, the training is banked. It's about staying sharp, and I reduced the weekly mileage by about 30 to 40% from 14 to 7 days out, which most people will be in now. And then do circa 20% of my weekly mileage between days 6 to 1. And think positively about all the good sessions that you've done and build up to that. Maybe revisit the best 3 and remind yourself of all the hard work you put in. Really good one. Like, go back to Strava and actually just like look at that session and just remember
how you felt. And you can do it.
Especially if you were doing marathon pace, and especially if you were doing marathon pace in Singapore heat, when you know you've got that extra 10% from the cooler weather. Carbs are key. And as you said, everyone's slightly different when it comes to nutrition, but 72 hours beforehand, Darren increases his carb intake. He has toast in the morning, pasta, potatoes for lunch, rice in the evening. The more carbs you can get in, the better. And if you feel slightly bloated on race day, this is debatable, that's okay. The fueling system is there. This can be quite strange and take some getting used to, so don't go too large the first time you do it. But it's a good point, right? If it works for him, as long as he's doing it in training and then goes out for his long runs and is feeling that little bit bloated, if you've got that glycogen store, I would argue you're better off having that glycogen storage in your muscle than in your belly. But
you've left it too late if you feel it.
If it's working for him, then all good. I think ultimately less is more during the tapering period. This is a really good point. You're better to skip a run than do one too many. But make sure you have a small speed session in the final week. Do some strides, circa 4 to 5k to stay sharp. You still want to feel quick and bouncy at the start line.
Yeah. Sorry, on that one, I think especially with a big group that's going to Seoul, I think it's important that everyone doesn't go together for a big run, shakeout run. Not everyone, because I think a big group will, but I was really impressed by Kiak, who came with us from the Falcons up to Tokyo. I wanted to go and run a park run. My thing has always been, because my dad did, and we did it in the 80s and the 90s, we went for a 5k run on Saturday before his marathons. So I always have, and it kind of works for me. And I wanted to do park run with Mrs. Guy in Japan. Asked Kiak, would you come along? Nah. And so he was loyal to himself. His thing was, I do not want to run the day before. So just be the danger on the big group is don't feel you have to go along with it. No one's going to be offended. Eat what you want, when you want, run when you want, when you want.
And back to Alice's point, she said you're going to feel niggles and stuff before. If you're feeling anything, don't feel pressured to do a run in that last week. You're like, just rest. The work is done. It's in the bank. There's no point risking.
You don't get unfit for 11 days, they say, right?
Subjectivity. That's why this is such a complex topic, right? Because it's so subjective. Everyone's different. It's like shoes. It's like nutrition. But the whole thing with the shakeout run, and Ben talks, and to use your phrase, bury yourself. I bury myself on a race. Okay, I race hard.
You're the hardest racer I know.
I race hard. I want to know the day before that I have done less than 5,000 steps. I want to sit with my legs up because I never do that. And the prize of getting up on race day morning and having had fresh legs the day before, literally horizontal. Ben will get onto this in a minute as well. For some people, they like a shakeout run. But to Andy's point, he's right. Don't let someone else's needs determine your choices the day before a race, because you've got to do what you do. For someone else, they can bang out 15,000 steps sightseeing. For you might need your legs horizontal.
Exactly.
That leads really nicely onto the race day itself for Darren. So he talks about pre-race, get to the venue early and make sure you take on fluids in the morning, eat and have time to go to the toilet. Sounds obvious, but with nerves in the body, you can behave strange ways. Remember your routine and stick to it. The weather will inevitably be cooler than Singapore, for every race, unless you're racing in Singapore. So remember to take fluids during the race. It's common not feel dehydrated as we've used to in the heat and humidity, but it can catch up with you. So stick to your schedule of fluids regardless of weather and how you're feeling. Pacing is key. This goes without saying. You're better to start too slow than too fast, and don't panic. If your first kilometre is lightly up or down, relax and stick to the plan. And his final point is try and not chase groups. If you're going 4:05 pace and there's a 4 kilometre pace group, stick to your plan. Have confidence you can run at the target pace, whether you're on your own or there's a big group with you. But during the latter stages, there will always be people to chase. You'd much prefer being the chaser than the chased during those final 5 to 10k. And lastly, he just says, good luck to everyone racing. You've all put in the hard work. Now it's time to smash some PBs.
Awesome, Darren.
Nice one, cheers, Darren.
Top man.
Solid.
On the groups, can I just say something about the groups? And he's right, and Ben, I think, says this as well, and he's said it. First 32k, forget groups. The groups haven't evolved properly till 32, till halfway at least, okay? At the last quarter of the race, from maybe 32k onwards, 30k onwards, that's when groups tend to establish. And I got through Seoul, I got my PB in Seoul by hooking onto two 245 groups who were clearly, they were ready for it. They all looked the same, as they all dressed, they'd all got the same shoes on. They didn't know each other, but they all looked like top runners, you know. And I was like, these guys know what they're doing. They gave me some draft, but more than anything, and I hate using cheesy nature things, but like the geese effect, the geese fly in a flock, because not just because of the uplift it gives you in terms of drag, but the fact that they're with a group, the energy that a group brings you, to just that feeling of, I'm going to just catch this group, and as soon as you just slot in, and it feels 10% easier. It's probably not, but the rhythm that you find yourself in, all you're thinking is stay with the group. You're not thinking about heart rate, you're not thinking about pace, you're not thinking about time, you're thinking this is a 2:45 group. So I agree with Darren there, but I think in the last 10k when you may be struggling and you can see a group that aren't, just go and feed off their positive energy.
Yeah. Nice one, Darren. Is he running any marathons this season? I'm sure he's like.
He is.
We need to get him onto trail
We
as
do.
well. Well, he did actually run up in Doethnon, didn't he? Actually,
He did.
yeah.
Very
He went
fast.
out. He went out hard
He
then.
did.
He didn't listen to his own pacing strategy then, did he?
Cheers, Darren.
Nice one. Cheers, Darren. Next up, do you want to introduce your man, Harry?
I can do, yeah. Harry's my coach, actually. He's the guy that got me back into it when I moved into Hong Kong.
Well done, Harry.
Got me back with his colleague Nicole into running marathons again, which is a bit disappointing. He's the founder of Buffalo Running Company in Lantau, Hong Kong, which is primarily, I think, focused on young people, getting them used to movement and running, and getting kids into athletics in Hong Kong, which is actually quite difficult to do. So doing a fun way and doing a lot on the trails. He's actually a devastatingly good runner. He's got something low 230s in his marathon, but he's the Hong Kong record holder over 3,000 meters. He ran Division 1 in the US on track. And then at the other end of his range is, I think he's still, in fact I know he is still the fastest known time over the original course on Lantau, so 67k or so. So yeah, that's Harry.
Okay, well, let's hear from Harry.
I'm Harry. I've coached a lot of marathon and ultra-marathon runners, including Andy, who smashed his PB on the weekend. Congrats again. And here are my 3 tips for Seoul Marathon race day. So, one would be to pace yourself. Have a plan, stick to it, especially in the first half. Don't get carried away by the adrenaline and the excitement of the event. And then in the second half, or even from 30k onwards, that's when the real race starts. So the first 30k is about getting there in one piece, staying disciplined, knowing your limits. And then the second tip would be to fuel well and don't overcomplicate it. You know, the days leading up to it, just eat what you would normally eat, maybe a little bit more, maybe an extra serving of carbs. The night before, you don't need to do some crazy pasta overload. You should be carbing up the whole week. Day of, if you can eat at least 3 hours before race start, I'd say. And if you're having something every 30-40 minutes, that's enough. If you're using caffeine, I would save it for the second half, maybe even the last 10k or last hour. Caffeine raises your heart rate a little bit, so you don't really need that at the start line. Especially if you're already nervous. So use caffeine sparingly. I'd say 1 caffeine gel or caffeine drink. I mean, a coffee before the race is fine, but you don't need to overdo it on a caffeine. And then finally, third tip is to enjoy it and don't hold too much weight on the outcome. Remember why you signed up for this, and that's a bit of fun. And yes, you should care and you should try hard, but it doesn't change who you are. Your result doesn't change who you are as a person, so don't worry too much. Just get out there and give your best, and that's all you can ask for. Best of luck in Seoul. It's awesome that you have a whole team there. Enjoy it. Pace well, fuel well, enjoy.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Harry Loseby. Appreciate it.
Consistent themes beginning to come through, right? I mean,
It's a couple of extra
slight nuances to it. I think he is definitely in the eat during the week rather than the big kind of load at the end. I thought it was interesting about the caffeine. I'd actually never heard that
So,
before.
I've got a point on this, but
Yeah, no, go on,
No,
because
so-
I'd never heard it.
Yeah, I as an ultra athlete, or mainly from my adventure racing days, there's a really great tactic of completely detoxing caffeine up to 2 weeks beforehand. Like I did it for 4 trails, I've done it for, and I do it for ultras occasionally as well, for big ones, and actually it can work in a marathon. detox beforehand, and then when you and actually for 4 trails, it wasn't until after the McElhose then I started taking caffeine.
Really? Okay.
But I would actually recommend detox, or at least a week beforehand on caffeine, and then drink your coffee the before. The one thing about caffeine is it's going to make you need to find the toilet. Back to the, I think it was Darren said, like your usual kind of routine. But yeah, caffeine strategy, detox, and then hammer it on the day, I think is it's really good.
And then the enjoy it thing, you can see that he's quite calm. Now he cares a lot, and he makes us who he coaches care a lot about it as well. So kind of the way that says is a bit deceiving. He's right, ultimately enjoy it. He said that to me beforehand. He knows I get really, really nervous before any race. I just know it's going to hurt, right? So, I mean, at parkrun, if I'm going to have a go, you'll find me in the loo kind of 20 minutes before as well. It's horrible, but he's right. Enjoy it, and it doesn't define you. He's right. You're always very good at pushing the people who you know should be pushed and can be pushed. And you're going to go on about PBs, but it isn't all about the PB. It's about the race and the way you execute it, I think. So, yeah, I thought that was impressive.
The bit he said there around the race starts at 30k.
Yeah.
So this was some advice you gave me last year before Seoul, and for many people, it's like just get yourself to that 30k mark and 32k mark in good space.
Yeah.
And it's a real mindset. It's like you get to that, and you're like, oh, I'm feeling good, and that is when you start to put the hammer down. That's when you can actually go, right, let's see what I've really got here.
Yeah.
And that's when you can do a negative split like you do in Tokyo, which is incredible. But it's similar to actually 4 trails, like Tomo was saying to me, the race starts when you get to Lantau. Like you're already 180k in of a 300k, but actually it starts there.
Yeah.
So just get yourself there. You're just getting to the start line. And I think you can transfer that mentality to a marathon. It's like, get yourself to the 32k.
Yeah. You're talking about
and then you start.
Compartmentalization, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know, that's what we do with all races. You can't see the big picture. You don't see a 100k race as 100k. You're seeing it as 10k to checkpoint 1, 12k to checkpoint 2. So yeah, it just makes everything a bit more manageable. It also helps pacing as well, because you can pace from checkpoint to checkpoint, or aid station. Top work, Carrie. That's I like succinct. I love that you had 3 tips there, but around each one was everything else. Really efficient. Who's up? Is it me?
It's you.
It's me with Ben. Okay, so this next person is an utter machine, not just on the track or on the road. This is a Singapore's finest iron triathlete, Ben Coup, and by the way, beer mile champion. Ben didn't send a video, so I will read this out, but I love Ben's take on this. He's adopted a different approach. He's gone for 5 things to avoid for the Seoul Marathon, so he's flipped it the other way in true Ben fashion, by the way.
He also did a PB at Seoul Marathon last year. He did 2:35 or 2:33, I think.
Yeah, him and Maliki raced pretty hard, around the 2:33, 2:35 mark, but I think, I might be wrong, he's looking at sub 2:30 this year, and I think he's going to get it. All right, let's go. Dear Falcons, instead of running tips, which everyone knows, here are some common mistakes that runners make before big races. I hope they help. 5 days out, I love this, and what are we now? 10 days out. So 5 days out, I love this phrase. The hay is in the barn. Resist the temptation to do a big workout. You are not getting any fitter anymore. It's better to be fresh at the start line. 4 days out, defend your immune system and hydrate. Take care of your body. Runners can be most fragile when they are most fit. These are great nuggets here. Wear a mask on the plane. Take probiotics for the travel belly. Hydrate. This is really granular stuff, Ben. Thanks, mate. 3 days out. It's like an advent calendar. It's like on a partridge in a pear tree. 3 days out. Don't be a Kiasu tourist. Resist the temptation. This is classic, isn't it? To go sightseeing. Clock in 20,000 steps in your legs. This is going to trash your legs. Take fewer than 7,000 steps a day. Don't stand if you can sit. Don't sit if you can lie down. Don't sit if you can lie down. 2 days out. Ignore the taper tantrums. I love that phrase. And acclimatise. You will feel crappy on the shakeout run. And remember, you don't need to do a shakeout run. You can if you want to. It's normal. Your body is not used to the taper. This is good advice, Ben. You're right. You will feel great on race day. You've got to trust the taper, haven't you? And then 1 day out. I love this. So this is the day before. The Kimchi Trap and the Throwaway Jacket. I love how he's titled each day here. Carb load day is not the day to test your stomach for new food. He's right. So as the others have said, stick to simple carbs and a lot of simple carbs. Simple and complex, I chuck both in there. But yeah, just carbs I think is good. And then race day, show what you've got. It's going to be a great course. Ben knows it well. Hold yourself back for 32k and then let it rip. So very similar
He's
themes.
a racer.
He's a racer. He is. It's really nice to get a holistic view from, we've got lots of different viewpoints here. Shall we unpack that, Andy? Right, I've got from his first point, I've reversed it in order, the kind of hold yourself back until 32k. That's come up
virtually every time.
It has, hasn't
right? I like his take on it. Let it rip.
Let it rip.
I mean, he's a
That's what you
braver
did,
man than
Tokyo.
me. Yeah, it wasn't ripping. It was cautiously getting there. But yeah, I think that's right. I think it's the same theme from everyone. I think it was Darren said it nicely as well. A different way of achieving the same, if we're just looking for tips for the day in what's a 3 or 4 hour run, is he focused on the first 5k.
Yes, yeah.
So don't
Andreas
throw away
yeah.
your time there.
Yeah.
And then the others are more, it's the same message, but it's a longer thought, which is like keep back for 30k, 32k.
Yeah.
So,
the two key checkpoints here,
they
listeners, are don't screw the first 5k up, don't go out too fast.
Because that can kill your race, actually.
It
2
can.
or 3 or 4 seconds a kilometre under your race pace. And you can be throwing 20 seconds a k back at the end, I think. And
you get to 32k on track, and you can do an Andy Guy. And Andy Guy is now known as, you get to 32k on track, and you can negative split if you've got it in the tank. Okay, that was the first thing I took, and then I absolutely loved the haze in the barn. 5 days out, and you can argue 5 to 7 actually. Let's just call it the week before the race. You are more likely to injure yourself or do too much that week than you are to lose any fitness. You cannot do anything that week other than injure yourself or tire yourself out. You're done then. You have to accept 7 days out, you've done everything you can.
It's not cramming for an exam,
it's
right?
Not.
You can't do that to your body. So
no one can, you know, and so...
So I'm interested on that though. What about people that have maybe had a bit of an injury and they haven't been able to get all of the training in, and still, like, can you maybe just shorten the taper a little bit? Like maybe you have it rather than kind of 10 days, have it like 5 days?
You can. We there's Vivian. There's a few that have been injured, and they've said, I've said,
just run through.
Leave the last week. We've always said just dial it down the last week. Because we'll go to your phrase again. You're going to put your marathon is not an easy feat. Especially if you're running it fast. I think at least 5 days of dial it down. Like, you don't need to lose speed. Everyone says do something quick. Darren said
I do a quick session on like the Wednesday probably, but not an intense session. No. I think it's 2 or 3. I just felt awful this time, so I did 2. 3 sets of 2k at race pace, not faster, because you don't want to pull a muscle. No. I mean, any faster and you're going to get into a risk. You're actually risking what you've just built for 10, 12 weeks for. So
protect what you've got. That's the whole mantra, that in that last week you're holding on to what you've got. You're not going to screw it up then by just. I did it. I remember I did a session too much and did my calf. I don't know if you remember this.
Yeah, I do.
My whole tendonitis started in kilometre 12 of Seoul Marathon, because
you did then just go and race the next 2 weekends after.
I did.
And then you were out for 6 months after that as well, mate.
I did, but I remember the session. It was a track night, and I was pacing a group because someone didn't turn up. It was the week of, and I did a set too many. It was a threshold session. I was like, I can do this. And I'd had a high volume week. Probably my taper wasn't long enough, and I just did that one. And you only need that one session. And sometimes you don't know till the next day. You get up in the morning, you're like, should have done that. Should have done that.
And his other stuff. Sorry, Scott.
Go on.
No, I was just going to say, let's bring it home with Darcy now. So Darcy is kind of still an honorary member of the Falcons. He's moved to Australia now, but a really fantastic runner, an elder statesman like yourself, but with that has got a lot of experience, and he shares some really great tidbits with us here today. One of the things I know about Darcy is that he's always just been very focused on just enjoy it. He's got this real he lived in Shanghai for a while and was with a great running club there. And I think he's one that doesn't really like PBs. Secretly, he's a hyper competitive runner, but he's always says,
he says
enjoy it for the run.
Let's see what Darcy has to say.
Hey folks, my name's Darcy. I've run a few marathons in the past, but I only did my first time one maybe 6 years ago with a group of friends and in Shanghai. I ran a 2:53, which was more luck than anything. After getting stomach cramps at about 26 Ks and then eventually getting through over the line in much slower kilometres than I started with on that one. And then I was very lucky. My times had come down. I did one the following year, I think 2:47. And then the year after that, where I trained properly and did all the work, all that kind of thing, I had my PB of 2:37 something. And then since then, I've run a 2:38 and a 2:39, and I haven't got that PB since that time. So whatever advice I give you is with my trajectory not going down in PB, but going up in time. So I'll caveat with that one. But look, a couple of tips that I've got for marathoning is to smile a lot is always number one. Most of the marathons, I've had a smile where my cheeks hurt for most of the way, and then they start hurting in the back half of the marathon for a different reason, but that's all good. The training has to be fun. The training has to be worth it, because the marathon will be whatever it's going to be. And that's a big tip for sure, is that the weather's going to be what the weather's going to be. The wind is going to blow. It's going to be hot. It's going to be cold. It's going to be perfect. It's going to be whatever it's going to be. And all of that doesn't really matter, because the block to get fit, to hit the marathon line with a good level of fitness and knowing you're going to go out and enjoy yourself has to be more important than the result of your marathon. So I'd say that's a huge tip from me. I've never been chasing times and PBs and things. I generally get a pretty good idea of what my pace might be, of what feels comfortable. And I think it's really important to learn how to run to comfort and not to, the kilometre split that you're aiming for. The 2 times that I have run 2 kilometre splits, it was blowing up in my face, and I finished harder than I should have, because I was just going too fast, too early, chasing a time. And I think when I have settled into something that feels like marathon pace, like my PB, I was shocked, because I didn't think I should be running that fast, but I knew the feeling was true, and that I could just coast along and kind of keep to that pace. So it's comfortable hard. A good tip I heard from another runner was that you're noticing the crowd, you're giving them a smile, a little thumbs up, you're checking it out, the scenery, you may be being able to have a bit of banter with someone along the way. Not quite getting into a deep philosophical chat, but at least being able to exchange a couple of words. Like, you're not so drained that you have to concentrate on running, at least in that first 30 kilometres. Another tip for that one as well is, you got to sit on the couch for the first 30 kilometres. You can't be pushing the envelope too hard before 30 kilometres, or it's going to blow up in your face. And it's fine to have a positive split marathon. Most people do, I would say. But a negative split marathon is a beautiful thing, because you're coasting at 21 Ks, you're feeling good. It's an effort. Like, it's definitely an effort. Don't when I say sit on the couch, don't dial off too much, but it's comfortably hard is what I would say. But you've got to get used to that feeling. And then after that 30 Ks, it's the same effort, but you've been doing it for 30 Ks, so everything else just starts rolling in. And then there's going to be a wall somewhere, somehow, that you're going to grit your teeth through, but you will come out the other side if you haven't gone too fast too early. And then if the pace comes down, it comes down, and that's fine. Like, don't feel like it's a failure or a loss. A marathon's a beautiful thing. Getting one right is very difficult, as as I've learnt, and we'll be trying to do again at some stage in the future. I think that's it for me. Enjoy the training. Marathon block is wonderful. I run a very unstructured kind of way when I'm not in a marathon block, so I love running a marathon block and having that structure. Doing the intervals and the long runs and all that kind of stuff. And then when I finish that marathon, not thinking about it again for another couple of months of structured training so much. And smile is important. When you're on that starting line, just breathe it in, put a smile on your face, think about how lucky we are to be able to be on the starting line of a marathon with usually thousands of other people who are there to share that space with us. Like, I really take a big kind of inhale of that energy and that vibe of how lucky we are to kind of do this as a hobby. It's a beautiful thing. All the best with your runs. I don't know if my advice is anything worth taking, but I love running, I love a marathon, and I love community. So thanks for the opportunity to share some ideas. And greetings from the Blue Mountains.
Darcy.
Darcy back. Oh man, I miss him in the club. Man.
Me
He's
too.
a great
Sit on the
runner.
couch.
Sit on the couch. Another expression for the same thing. Perfect. It's a good one. It's very Darcy.
Oh man, what a great one to finish on.
He brings like a real just joy to running, doesn't he? He really he's got a real love for it, and you can feel it. It shines through. And I think and this is one big thing I get from you as well, Chris, is just how you see yourself at that start line dictates how you're going to perform on the day. And Alice said a little bit about it as well at the beginning. It's just, like if you've got the pressure on yourself, then it's going to have a negative impact. But just like be thankful for the work that you've done and appreciative of what even it's not all gone perfectly, you've put in work.
Well, Alice and Darcy were actually the two who said they're both very relaxed, they both want to smile, they both want to enjoy every marathon they do. They're the two that acknowledged it's going to hurt. Like, especially at some point it's going to hurt, but they both then talked about getting through the hurty patch. I mean, when Alice talked about that in Valencia she was considering stepping off, that's when she set her 2:36 and the 5th fastest time in the age group last year in the world, right? So she was able to push through it, and Darcy said exactly the same thing, which I think is important that everyone knows that it is going to get tough. I was going to say ugly, but it's going to get tough. The reason we talk about the first 30k is because it should be okay.
It should be.
What no one is actually saying is that means that the last 10k isn't easy, right? So you're going to have to work hard.
I think if you unpack what they're trying to say with science, right? Anxiety, worry, stress raises heart rate, and it uses energy. So ultimately, the smiling, the being calm, the seeing yourself positively on the start line, Andreas saying control the controllables, all of that relates to remaining calm. It expends less energy. What do we want to do in a marathon? We want our heart rate to be as low as possible per given pace, right? And we want it all to be calm and settled, lock into a rhythm. All of these things are geared towards just keeping it calm, keeping it relaxed, enjoy it. That's what we're trying to achieve through all of this, right?
I'm gonna just follow up what you said there around they like enjoy it and everything, but then you're gonna suffer. And there's this thing, and I felt it acutely at the in the 4 trials, is around this term of like beautiful suffering. Because I was asked after, I actually said to my professional coach, and he's like he was sending me messages, and it's like, how do you feel? I was like, it was a beautiful experience. I actually described it as a beautiful experience. And I saw the thing on, which, if you don't mind, I'm just going to read out, was a guy called Steve Magnus that did a post on Instagram. He talked about there's an article, it's a review in Sports Medicine, and this is about ultra endurance, but it relates to marathon running, how ultra endurance athletes handle extreme pain. Races, and it talks about longer races that are 24-hour plus with temperature swings, sleep deprivation. But so the researchers called what these athletes experience beautiful suffering. And that phrase deserves unpacking. Most of us think of pain as something to eliminate or fight. The entire wellness industry is built around the premise and the promise of less friction and minimising discomfort. But the athletes who survive 100-mile races don't succeed by numbing or fighting against pain. You never will. Instead, they change their relationship to it. And it found that the pain occurs in a positive context where there's exhilaration, a sense of achievement, or the anticipation of intrinsic reward. The emotional response to pain actually shifts. And athletes reported acceptance of pain and even taking satisfaction from enduring it. And pain plus meaning equals something the brain can work with. Pain without meaning is just suffering.
Train hard, race easy.
But you're all everyone doing a marathon, you're gonna get to the point when you're gonna feel that pain. embrace it.
Enjoy it.
Like embrace it.
Yeah.
Like that is what it's all about. That's what we live for.
And the
That's
challenge
what
of
makes us
overcoming
feel
it,
alive.
right? How
And
are
then-
you going to, like you said, he does an amazing job at problem solving in 4 trails. You're going to have to work through that and find out how to get to the finish.
That's what we're in it for. And honestly, if you're not feeling it, then what are you doing out there?
Yeah.
Like but that's not to say, and that's to say, like when it comes, because it will come, just feel like this is what I was waiting for. This is what I got to the start line for. This is what I've done that 3 or 4 month block for.
Yeah.
And just soak it up.
Yeah. Awesome. How long? 10 days? 10 days to Seoul? You're not doing it.
10
You're
days.
not doing it.
No.
I'm doing it with 35
I'm going to be
seconds.
following.
Guys, I hope that was useful tonight. I got a lot from that. You
Yeah.
know, I learned a lot from that tonight. There's a lot of things I've taken from that, and I hope the listeners did as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Good luck everyone running in marathon season, and hope you all manage to get the PBs you're looking for. Nice one. Thanks, team.
Cheers.
See you guys.
Awesome.
So to summarise tonight's session, we've got 16 fabulous tips now that encompass the build-up, week and the race itself. We'll start with the build-up, the prep and the taper. I love Ben's phrase, we'll start with number 1, the hay's in the barn. You're not getting any fitter this week. The goal now is freshness, not fitness. Trust the work you've done and protect what you've got so that you're fresh on Sunday morning, and let your body absorb it all. Number 2, absolutely reduce your mileage. Darren, in fact, everyone said that. Keep a touch of the speed going. Cut your volume by 30 to 40% early in the week, and then just keep it very light. Include a short sharpening session. You don't want to lose all your speed. You want to keep feeling fresh and responsive as you go into it, but absolutely reduce the volume. Number 3, carb load, 72 hours out, not just the night before. Gradually increase carbs intake across the final 3 days to maximise glycogen stores. And if you feel slightly heavy on race morning, as Darren said, that's the fuel in the tank being full. Number 4, protect your legs like gold. Yeah, Ben, thanks for the reminder there. And avoiding excessive walking or sightseeing. Aim for a really low step count, particularly the day before, probably a couple of days before. And, you don't need to go and see all the sights. You'll see that on race day, to be fair. Get some rest. Number 5, revisit your best sessions. I love that one. That was Darren's, I think. Be proud of the work you've invested. Remind yourself of the strongest workouts from the block, and then that confidence you get from that. Go and look how much work you've put in and really celebrate that. And accept that the paranoia is real. You're going to get niggles, and they'll feel worse. You'll start to doubt yourself. You'll start to panic about whatever target you've set yourself. But just relax. Don't let that derail your mindset or plans. So we'll move on to pre-race now, the morning and the start line. I think stick to routine, really big. It's cliche, but you've heard it many times before. Eat, hydrate and warm up exactly as you've practiced in training. Race morning is not the time to experiment for stuff. Sensible decisions, please, Falcons. Number 8, arrive early and remove stress. Lots of time for bag drop, toilet again, warm up, toilet again, and calm. Just keep it calm. Remember what we said, calm at the beginning, just keeps it calm the first 5 to 10k. Number 9, know the course and prepare for the weather. Lots of prep being done already with that, but knowing the course, go online, have a look, check out Chris's video, and little details like this, marginal gains, just increase your confidence levels. Number 10, big one. I think everybody said this. Start calm, not fast. The first 5k absolutely should feel controlled and comfortable. Biggest mistake most marathoners make, and I've made it too, is just burning the matches too early. If it feels too easy, it's the right pace. Patience is the most powerful weapon in the marathon. And then we move to during the race now. Run the mile you're in. Absolutely love that one. Focus on the current kilometre that you're running. Relaxed cadence. Keep your breathing and rhythm easy. Keeps you efficient for longer. Just relax. All links to that, doesn't it? Number 12. Pace of 30 kilometres and race the last 12. Absolutely, you want to get to the 30k mark so that you've got enough in the tank to, if you can negative split it, fantastic. If you need to keep on hanging in there, whatever it takes, but the marathon begins at that point. Number 13, fuel early and consistently. It's a massive one. Seoul is different. It's going to be cold. But stick to your plan, stick to your fueling strategy, eat before you get hungry and drink before you get thirsty. Waiting until you feel hungry or thirsty is too late. Number 14, work with other runners. Lots of a few different schools of thought on this, but my one is absolutely run your own race. But you know, when you're struggling, just hook onto groups. They'll pull you through just like they do on track night. Shared effort can make the race feel easier. And you know, Andreas has one there. Expect the unexpected. Something will go wrong. It will. Okay, and how you respond to that will determine the outcome. Stay calm and adapt. Control the controllables. Number 17, and the most important one, number 16, enjoy every moment of this. Darcy banged the drum about this one. Enjoy, smile your way through it, and, you know, relax. Enjoy, keep everything chilled, whether you hit your A goal or not. You've done a lot of work for this, whether it's your A goal, your B goal, or your C goal, or you just finish. It doesn't really matter, does it? You're here, enjoy the ride, and as Kipchoge reminds us, the marathon isn't really about the marathon, it's about the shared struggle, and it's about the training, and the race really is the celebration of all the hard work you've done. Enjoy it. I can't wait to see you all on Saturday for the shakeout if you choose to join in on that, and then the meal on Saturday as well, and then the big one on Sunday. It's going to be awesome.
The Endurance Asia podcast.
And always tell a truthful story if they ever ask. Stop the complaining cause things ain't that bad.